But I think we have to participate in the changes that are coming. And one of the most important things that you said in that was imbalance. And that's really what I see here is a state of imbalance. I think Earth is, at present, this reality that we're in is in a state of imbalance. And it's in the process of rebalancing itself. I think that's what the awakening is. It's a rebalancing of reality.
Well, that's what I appreciate about your message, is that we're discussing an individual shift in consciousness and taking personal responsibility. And I think that's something very important for all of us to focus on and think about what that means in our own lives. Okay, we've got 2 phone calls coming up from the 347 area code and 214 area code. Max Igan is our guest, thegrowerhouse.com. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back to Outside the Box Radio, coming to you from outside the grid. And we've got a phone call from the 214 area code, and we're going to go to that call now. Caller, welcome.
Hi there.
How are you? What's your name, and what state are you calling from?
My name is Daniel. I'm calling from Dallas. And
welcome.
We've met. Alex, you know me from our meeting at the some cafe down on Mockingbird. Anyway, I'm wondering.
Good to talk to you again, Daniel. Good to talk to you. I got lots of good memories of some good people that I met in Dallas, and you're one of them.
Well, thank you. Right back at you. Thank you, Alex. So, I'm working on this. Been working on a lot of these hypotheses, and I really like the one presented here by this gentleman. I also find myself wondering if maybe the analogy presented by the Garden of Eden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, isn't somehow related to this. And what I mean by that is possibility that this isn't meant to work. That if that analogy fits, the way it might fit is to say that we're on the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and this tree is no damn good, and we pretty much have to exhaust all the possibilities to recognize that there's a big flaw in the ointment when it comes to assuming that in this life, in this dimension, in this existence, perception, or whatever you want to call it, holograph, we're not able to accomplish where we want to go or be what we want to be. And it all around us, and human nature has some very serious flaws that are really ungappable. I don't know how we can reach the chasm that's caused by the neuroses in our society. And my assertion is that perhaps it's supposed to be broken, and the point isn't for us to fix it or make it work, but for us to become, humble enough to realize that, what we're calling ascension or higher consciousness is this awareness that just to accept things as they are and recognize that there is some higher being. If there isn't, then there's a certain amount of futility to any effort we're making. And when some higher being may not be, we have the context all of a sudden of a one single being, but it could be the sum total of all the consciousness, for all we know. In fact, to my mind, that's the only way it makes sense, is that all of our consciousness is one, perceiving itself as many. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much, but I just want to throw in there that, we go at these dilemmas that we have, seeking liberty and a higher consciousness and a healed planet, with certain perceptions, certain assertions that this is true or that is true. And honestly, I come to the realization that I don't know if any of it's true. I don't know what our reality is.
What I experienced when I was in Peru was such a deep connection, and what I understood from it was that we are already higher consciousness, but we're just disconnected from it. And the problem with a lot of the New Age spiritual ascension theories that people have is that they believe that by putting themselves in a higher energetic state or a meditative state, they will be able to suddenly ascend to fifth dimension or something like that. But what's happening is they're not paying attention to the 3D reality in which they live. What's happening? what's happening here in the 3D reality, why we're not accessing our higher consciousness that we should be accessing is a lot of it is biologically, and a lot of it is through our left brain programming, our belief of what is possible. But there are certain biological mechanisms that are put in place to ensure that we cannot reach a state of what people would term enlightenment, real enlightenment, because our bodies are deactivated due to basically fungal growths that are all growing through our body that shut down our endocrine system, that shut down our histones, that shut down our biology and make us not accessible to higher consciousness. It's a biological thing. It's a DNA thing. It's a genetic thing, And this is why sugar's in all the foods that they give us as well. Everything you buy has got sugar in it because sugar feeds the fungus and keeps your body locked down. Now, you've got to realize that there are certain controlling hands in the world. There's certain mechanisms that have been put in place to prevent you from ever being you or realizing you or reaching your full potential. And if we fail to address these mechanisms, then we're never going to get anywhere. There's no good waiting to ascend to fifth dimension if you're going to miss out on third dimension. I mean, you came here to get this perspective, to improve reality by your presence in it, to see what you can do with the time that's allotted to you. But so many people want to move back to the ether. Oh, if I meditate, then I can leave this terrible reality and go back to the ether. Well, I think people that do that, they're missing the point of why they're here. So, we need to pay attention. This could be a beautiful place, and I think it's in a process of rebalancing itself. I think that's what this 2012 event was. I don't think it was a non-event at all. I think the energies shifted in December 2012, and consciousness is now in a state of rebalancing itself because it's starting to understand what the actual problem is, and that a lot of the problems that are keeping consciousness down are physical 3D problems. We just have to pay attention and get involved.
Thank you for your perspective and your contribution to humanity in general. Appreciate it, sir.
Well, thank you for saying so. Pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise.
Yeah, and thank you, Daniel. Yeah, that was a great call, by the way. You brought some really, really good points.
Thank you, Alex. You guys have a good night. Great show.
And I just want to comment briefly and then go quickly to our phone call from the 972 area code. I think it's really important for us to examine what solutions we're capable of manifesting, either on an individual level or working, as a collective with others, whether we're living off the grid, trying to develop our own independent societies. I want to talk more with Max in the second hour about working with the system as opposed to alternate communities. I think Max and I have some disagreements, but we also have a lot of things that we agree on, so we're going to try to find the middle place. For me, it seems like there are certain things that we are probably responsible for coming up with a solution for. A bit. The first and foremost is deprogramming ourselves, which has nothing to do with anybody else or their free will, but becoming the conscious being that we are. But I also think that there is a time to be a objective journalist, even though we are philosophers and we are, alternative media hosts and we have different ideas, because when you are objectively reporting the news, you're just stating the facts as to what is taking place. Sometimes it isn't always easy to come up with a solution, and sometimes when I hear some people demand a perfect solution because they're disturbed by the facts and data that they're getting, sometimes I feel that they're missing the point. There may be a larger creative, divine purpose behind the things that are taking place in order to wake us up to what is wrong and to force us to create what is right. And many times that's only about the individual, what we can do ourselves, when we have no control over others that would like to direct their own free will towards murdering others, raping others, joining mercenary gangs and armies. We can't control them, but we can control ourselves, and I think that that's just something that we should take into consideration. Max?
Oh, look, absolutely. We can control ourselves, and we have a moral obligation to do what's right. I mean, I believe that there's one law to all of creation, and that is to act in service to creation for the Creator. And, do what is right in all that you do. Follow the path of Dharma, do the right thing at the right time in the right way for the right reason. You start living your life like this, and you start seeing other people as yourself. Live your life in Lakesh. I say that at the end of every radio show, in Lakesh, which means I am another yourself. And the caller we just had on said, look, how he believes there's really only one consciousness. Well, if you look at how your body works, there is. Your body's a computer. It downloads a frequency that you experience as you. So you are completely unique in that, and completely unique in your perspective, and yet you come from the same place that I come from. You come from the field, from the ether, because the energy that exists all around us, that is conscious energy. It's consciousness that creates all of reality. So, we can experience reality from a completely different way once we really perceive what it is. And everything I've just said, I mean, that's mainstream science is saying all of that. And I experienced that when I was in Peru, when I was in an altered state in Peru and my higher senses came online. I was able to read all of that energy around me, so I know it's real. And people say, oh, you were on it was a drug-induced experience. Well, ayahuasca, I don't perceive ayahuasca to be a drug. It's a medicine. There is a spirit to that plant which can take you in and show you how reality works. And everybody who uses it has a similar experience. They always experience a female spirit that shows them things about themselves and shows them how reality works. Any of the visual stuff you get is simply through having more DMT active in your body, which you should have anyway, because your pineal gland should be open. But DMT is produced in your spine. Your body should have much, much higher levels of DMT in it than what it currently has. And that's one of the reasons we don't see outside visible light. So this is why it's important to preserve these traditions, and it's important to look at reality from a bit of a wider perspective than most people do. But, if you have an order to do something and you have a moral obligation to do otherwise, then you always should go with the moral path, the moral high ground. You should always do this. If we were to live our lives in Lakesh and live our lives in a state of respect for each other, I think we could change the world very quickly.
Yes, a wider perspective indeed. Not looking at the universe through the lens of a McDonald's straw. And with that, we're going to take a break. Max Igan is our guest, and we welcome your phone calls, 218-339-8525. Max's website is thegrowhouse.com. And when we come back, we'll take our phone call from the 972 area code. Hour 2 up next in just a few. Okay, and we're back. Now, we have another phone call from the 972 area code, and we're going to go ahead and bring that up right about now. Caller, welcome. What's your name and state?
Oh, hello?
Welcome.
Oh, hello.
Thanks for calling in. And who might this be?
Lindsay.
Well, welcome to the show.
I followed kind of Max's other interviews, and I have to agree with a lot of things that he's presented and that he said. It's very interesting. I'm wondering about his opinions on some people are feeling that they're moving into kind of a multi-dimensional existence or reality. I mean, I kind of have felt that myself. I was just wondering, his opinions on that. Some people, it's really kind of hard to exist right now, kind of with other people. It seems like they're in a slower mode of thinking and thought, and they can't really relate to anything you have to say or anything that you perceive. And I'm just wondering if you feel that just kind of this multidimensional existence, past, present, future, all kind of coinciding at once, at certain times, during the day, or, just really psychic intuition type bursts happening. What a person is thinking. You can almost see through walls and know what's happening on the other side. Sometimes it's kind of scary. I know it has to do with just the oncoming energy fields that are solar energy fields, energies from the center of the galaxy, and even the center of the cosmos. I've perceived that for many years. I've felt that for many years coming. And it's been kind of painful because I feel like something, awful things have been putting obstacles in the way of that development. But I just want to know his opinions on multidimensional existence. Is it something that you think is real happening?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you're multidimensional beings, but even when people say multidimensional, I think a lot of what they're experiencing is actually the rest of this dimension. They're coming online. So we're only experiencing about 3% of this reality that we're in. There's all this stuff that exists outside visible light that we're not experiencing. a lot of the stuff that I experienced in Peru was all of these high